When we talk about a diver watch, the first thing that comes to mind is a rotating bezel. What about the second thing? For me, it is a dial. And the most popular design is the one from Rolex Submariner. No numbers, neither Arabic or Roman as our markers. Only geometric shapes with loom. The use of geometric shapes as our markers started from the Art Deco era. In 1936, Panerai issued the first radio mirror, with geometric shapes replacing 12, 3, 6, and 9 markers. Then in the 50s, the early Blancpain 50 fathom with military spec also replaced all the markers with geometric shapes. Not long after that, the very first Rolex Submariner popularized the dive watch dial format in the form that resembles what we see today. Once started, the evolution clock never stops ticking. There were always tweaks here and there in a strive to appeal to a wider group of people. And one of them is the creation of a watch with diverse style dial, but without a rotating bezel. This has become a three-hand sports watch segment today that focuses on everyday uses. Most of them are smaller. Some are without date function, like the Lorei Explorer, Tudor Black Bay 36, and the recently released Zeno 5 Sports. Today we take a look at two vintage pieces and one example from a micro brand in this segment. The first one is a vintage piece that I have with me for a few years. It is relatively very small by today's standard. It has a beautiful sunburst blue dial with Submariner style markers. The beauty of this piece is that despite its compact size, it is run by a fully capable Swiss-made 25 GU's movement, not by any means inferior to a full-size dive watch. It is indeed a little comfortable piece to wear casually. The second piece is made by another Swiss company, Zeno Watch Basel. This piece is a quirky one. It is full of character, starting from the dial with an in-your-face vintage plain at the logo. The hands are in funky red and white pattern, resemble a street sign. The chapter ring on this piece is prominent and complements nicely to the overall design. The case is integrated with hooded lug, which is carved out to make an interesting shape. It is finished in alternate brush and polished surface. It took a while for me to find the right old bracelet to match it, which results in a nice continuous taper from the case through all the length of the bracelet. The highlight piece today is Lorei Falcon. This example is in white dial. There are quite a number of positive reviews of this piece already on YouTube, so I will look at it from another perspective, from the source of inspiration that influenced its design. Because this Lorei Falcon, and even the whole Lorei brand, is perceived to be heavily inspired by vintage watches. Superficially, Lorei Falcon seems to be categorized with Rolex Explorer and Tudor Black Bay 36, which is an everyday time-only mid-size watch. But that is only if you consider the segmentation aspect of it in the current market. Design-wise, there is a whole different set of sources of inspiration far and wide in both space and time, deeper in the history of wristwatches. The first and most influential piece that I think inspired Lorei Falcon is Rolex Milgauss 6541, the fixed bezel variant, introduced in 1958. There are multiple elements of the design that makes the total look and feel of the watch seems like the role model for Lorei Falcon. The case shape, the texture dial, the minute track, and the hour marker style seems to be significantly inspired by the 6541. But there are also some other elements that are thoughtfully acquired from some other sources. The second piece that I think has a strong influence on this Lorei Falcon is the Omega Railmaster from 1957. Here we get the bezel, which is slimmer than the Milgauss, the big arrow hands that is the signature of all Omega Trilogy 1957 series. The third piece is the Rolex Explorer Polar Dial, which shows us that the beauty of the simple white on white with cartoonish black outline of all the elements can work well with the watch with geometrical diver dial. This Lorei Falcon is surely not an homage. It is more sort of a new design with vintage vibe. We may never know whether the designer really have these three pieces in mind when they literally start sketching the preliminary design of this piece. Like all the evolution, every step forward is resting on the elements of the past. We may not consciously think of it the moment we design something, but we surely learn from the experience what works and what's not. When you take the design elements from multiple sources, the challenge is how to combine these things we take tastefully. That's the only way we can invent a new sound, a unique voice of our own, and Lorei Falcon successfully nails it.